So first of all, welcome to the demo session of Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services, IACS. I mean, this is a demo session where I'll try my best to kind of give you a high-level overview of what is an ETL is and what this Informatica is all about, and inside this Informatica, what this IACS is, and what are all the different modules that are available with Informatica, and what are we going to cover in this training session or a course period. Okay, at any point of time, if you feel like okay, if you have some more clarity that is needed, or like we have any questions, like feel free to hold on till the discussion ends, so that we can have the question and answer session at that point of time. If you feel like okay, something is not actually going right way, please feel free to stop me at that particular point only, right? So I hope like at least like majority or some of the people that are in the call or the demo session, right? So you are already aware of what an ETL is, and you might have already worked on some of the ETL tools. Can someone please confirm? I mean, if somebody is there who has already have some experience on some of the ETL tools.
Yeah. Hi, this is Gaurishwar, and I have 12 years of experience. I worked in Informatica Power Center and Informatica Data Quality. So
Okay.
currently we are migrating our application to IICS. So that's the reason I'm
Great,
going for this training.
great. Yeah, great to know about it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so I think for some of you guys who is already having some ETL knowledge, right, so it will be a bit simpler, but yeah, I mean, there's no need to worry that okay, if we don't have some ETL background, so it's something tough or something like that, so we can get started from the basics itself. So before actually starting to the objectives of what this demo session or this particular course is going to cover, right? So first I would like to give some kind of introduction to what an ETL is. So in this data world, so so coming to the ETL things, right? So the first thing, as the name gives some more introduction about it. So the first one is basically E for extraction, where we can actually extract the data from any of the source. Either it could be a database or a process, or it could be any system that is residing on any of the on-premise or a cloud-based infrastructure, right? So, and the second part is basically transforming the data, which is nothing but the in the ETL, the T part, okay, where we are actually transforming the data as per our business logic. So when it comes to any of the business requirements, right, the data, the raw data that is actually available in any of the systems or the databases that are coming to the transformation piece, right? So we are actually getting the data available in a very raw format. Either it could be available in any of the databases that is residing on on-premise servers, or it is on cloud, okay, or if it's any application data that we're actually directly getting it from the application, or it's if the data is from any of the systems, right, systems or the services. So whatever the source of the data could be, so it is not available in the format, or it is not available in the way it is supposed to be to fill our business requirements, or to fill our maybe our reporting requirements. So whatever the end goal of an objective it should be, so it is not available in the required format. So that's how the data is available in the source. So because of that reason, we have to transform the data into our required format. Either it could be making some changes, or making some calculations, making some formatting differences, or making populating some more attributes, or like deriving some more attributes, or whatever the required format it is. So we need to accomplish all the things using an ETL tool, or like some of the application or the tools like this. So that's what we call it as a transformation of the data in between. And the third part is basically loading the data. So it's as simple as like as we are actually reading the data from a source, right, and transforming in between. And once the transformation is done, then the third piece is basically to load the data to our target. So again, the loading point or the target point could be anything. It could be on-premise database, or it could be a cloud-based database, or it could be any of the real-time integrated system, or it could be any of the reporting platform. Whatever is our business requirement is, we can actually load that to the target. right? So with this, like I mean, we get to know, okay, what any of the particular ETL tool can do. So in market, like we have like n number of ETL tools that are available, and we can say like Informatica is on the creamy layer of all the ETL tools that is actually doing this particular jobs, right? So that is where the Informatica is at the top place or at the creamy layer of part. Inside Informatica, again, the cloud edition of Informatica is again being used by multiple clients or the multiple organizations to fulfill their needs, as they have, as it has like more flexibility, either it comes to a development standpoint, or it comes to a migration standpoint, or it comes to a governance standpoint. So we have all the additional flexibility or the additional ease in Informatica cloud or Informatica IACS compared to Informatica Power Center or other ETL tools for that matter. So this is what an ETL tool does. And coming to Informatica IACS, right? So what an IACS is? So it's a short form, that Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. So it's an iPaaS or an integrated platform as a service, right? So as most of you are aware that so as a platform or a platform that is actually providing to the, I mean, supporting to the organizations as a service. So we have it as an iPaaS solution, the Informatica IACS. And this particular iPaaS solutions is being kind of okay. So the Informatica, what an Informatica IACS can do. So as I mean, some of you might have already ever, but I would like to cover a bit more. So Informatica IACS is having a flexibility or having a multiple modules where you can actually integrate with any of the data stores or the databases that is leading to a data integration part of it, or you can actually integrate with any of the applications or a solution, I mean, or a systems that is what we call it as a real-time integration or an application integration, right? So it can actually do like that part as well. And we do have like other modules that are available with Informatica IACS also. But in this course, like we are going to cover the Informatica IACS data integration part and Informatica IACS application integration part in detail. And coming to the details of what this particular course or this particular course can cover is, like, if you can see my screen. So these are the main objectives of this particular course, where the detailed Informatica cloud architecture will be explained to you, and how it is being designed in such a way that it can cater all the on-premise as well as the cloud requirements when it comes to the data integration as well as the application integration has been will be covered. And I mean, when it comes to any of the application like this, right? So as some of you guys are already working on Informatica Power Center. So as you know that the to use this particular Power Center, we need to have a server being set up, and for that we need to have a server maintenance and stuff like that. But so to make our lives more easier, Informatica IACS cloud, right? So we have a concept called Informatica Secure Agent or Informatica Runtime Environment, we call. I mean, both are one and the same. So for now, let's go with Informatica Secure Agent terminology. So what this Secure Agent is, so it's basically a very lightweight utility that can be installed anywhere, like even in your laptop or even in your desktop or any of the virtual VMs you can use. So with this lightweight utility or a small application, you can actually do all your processes, all your executions, all your developments. And what in essence, you can call it like, okay, the server or the big server maintenance thing that is actually working very pivotal in Informatica Power Center, right, has been minimized or like optimized to a smaller server kind of thing called Secure Agent. So I'll explain you like in detail about like what the Secure Agent is and how we can install and how we can make use of it in our actual sessions. But for now, I'll move on with the content. And moving on, so we'll also be covering with what the synchronization tasks are. So Informatica IICS is also having very what do you call, the requirement based add-ons or direct paths that we can make use of. What I mean by that is like as most of you guys are already working on the data world, right? So you might be knowing what a slowly changing dimension 1, type 2, type 3 and all, right? So for us to kind of get it worked in any of the other retail tools, or for that matter Informatica Power Center, so we need to kind of develop from the scratch. But what the Informatica is actually giving, a Informatica Cloud IaaS is giving a flexibility over here is like we have predefined flows that are already available with Informatica Cloud for all the standard and well used industry practices with respect to the data integration, so that we can import them directly or we can make use of them directly as a kind of and provide the values of source, target, and what all the different parameters that we are supposed to give, right? So those things we can give and we can use it, like instead of taking like a 1 day or a 2 days of effort to build it from the scratch, right? You can get it used within 30 minutes or like 20 minutes. So that's how Informatica Cloud is giving us the flexibility. And similarly, if at all if you have to do some kind of doing a synchronization of the data from one DB to the other DB, so we have a directly available synchronization task as well. So what my point I'm trying to cover over here is like most of the industry standard or the data driven techniques or the processes that are standard across the industry, right? So those are being already readily available with Informatica IaaS as a processor, so that we can directly import them and tweak them as per our source and target requirements and get them used very fast. And the next one is basically the data transfer task. So in this particular thing, so we are going to cover like what are all the different types of data transfers that can be accomplished using Informatica IaaS. So I mean, one or two among them are like using a file transfer or a file processor connector. We'll explain what those are in detail. And other one is basically in a mass ingestion, where you can actually kind of ingest multiple files at a time. uh, if you have like thousands and thousands of files that are coming on the way in a specific requirements, and transferring one after the other file will be a tedious task for sure. So to avoid that, or to come out of it, right, so we have a concept of mass ingestion also that we are going to cover in this particular step. And in the next step, if you still feel that okay, not all like industry standards or the standard requirements will fill, right, only I believe, at least from my knowledge, whatever the experience that I have, so we can only fulfill like 30 to 40% with the standard practices. Every requirement is unique and every requirement needs a customization, right? So for that, again, similar to the ones mapping designers and the other ones that we have in Informatica Power Center and other retail tools, so we do have a cloud mapping designer, Irena, where we can actually create our customized or required mappings as per our own business logic, and post which we can actually create a mapping task out of it, and uh, and execute them. Okay. And again, we'll also be covering what a replication task is and how we can replicate a task. And we can and similarly we'll explain you like what a masking task is, and was as I just explained just before, sorry for that, what a mass ingestion task is, how it can be used to kind of ingest like multiple or n number of files at a time. So that will be explained. And once we are done with it, so you have like individual components that are being created, and for everything, right, for every of the execution, so you cannot go and execute all individual parts one at a time. So for that, we have a task close mechanism in Informatica IaaS, where we can embed all your required components or the code pieces or a mapping tasks or a synchronization task, whatever the business logic is expecting for to get that work out of it, right? So we can ingest, like we can add them to the task flows, and we can create a task flow. So it's basically a combination of whatever the individual pieces of your code that needs to be executed in a series or in a parallel or in a what do you call, decision based mechanism. So you can make use of the task flows. So we'll explain you, or like we'll give you a very detailed training on how you can create a task flow. Either it could be a parallel one or a series one or a conditional based one. So we'll explain you how you can do that. And the next one is basically on how you can use IICS REST web services in the data integration. So the web services thing majorly will be covering in the application integration part, but even in data integration also we can make use of some the API calls. So we'll explain you how you can make use of it for any simple web service. Excuse me, any simple REST based or SOAP based web services calls that you can make use of Informatica data integration alone, not application integration. Okay. And also like we'll be teaching you like how you can parse the hierarchical data, or like we have a defined transformation in Informatica IACS called the hierarchy parser, how you can get use of it and how you can parse any of the hierarchical data, maybe an example of a JSON data, how you can do that. So that will be kind of explained. And yeah, the exception handlings and how you can do any of the exceptions that we might encounter. So we'll try to cover like as many as possible. And if at all, if we have like any of the advanced configurational properties uh, at a task level or at a mapping level, how you can do that, so that will be accomplished. And how you can actually improve the performance, some of the performance improvement techniques. So these performance improvement techniques can be generic across all the ETL tools, but there are some additional performance techniques very specific to Informatica ISCS. So those will be explained and covered in this particular session. And also like how you can actually kind of automate and schedule the tasks or jobs that we have developed on a required schedule basis, right? So how you can schedule it. So we do have our own scheduling mechanism. I mean, we can make use of other schedulers as well, but I don't think that it is needed, given the robust scheduling mechanism that Informatica IACS has. So we'll explain you how a scheduling mechanism in Informatica works and how you can get out of it. And we'll also give you like some high level details about like how an administration or the settings, or what do you call, the configurational settings at a secure agent or at a high level server level you can do to make our process easier, or to improve our performance, or what are all the different things that we can do, and how you can configure the connections, and how you can tweak any of the parameters that are available in the standard connection. So we'll be all the administration part of we IACS, Informatica IACS, so will be explained. And so we'll explain you a bit more about like how users can be added, and how user permissions can be given, and how user groups can be defined, and all of the things. And also we'll give you a high level overview of how an assets can be maintained and migrated from lower environment to other environment. And while you're migrating, like what are all the different techniques that we need to follow to get a minimal effort in migrating, and minimal discharge between a non-prod and a production environment. So those will be covered. And post that, I think with this these are all the topics that we are going to cover in Informatica data integration piece. And coming to the other one, where we are having I mean, and before actually doing that, I'll just take a pause here to see if we have any questions.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, are you going to cover some, kind of projects, real-time projects?
Yes, I'm for sure. So, I mean, not like a real-time project basis, but we'll be kind of covering like real-time scenarios, how we can actually accomplish those scenarios is what we are going to cover. But a project, I mean, if you call a small requirement as a project, for sure, yeah, it is a project. But yeah, it's basically a scenarios, how you handle this particular scenario. You have these data sets, and your requirement or a business requirement is to accomplish or to transform the data into this particular form. So we'll be covering. And if you have some scenarios in precise in your mind, so we can definitely work them out and get them shared with the broader group.
So, I have a requirement like I'm switching from, I was in support, Informatica Power
Mhm.
Center, and I
Mhm.
have only very basic activities, but I'm planning to switch into development.
Okay.
So how can I do that? I mean, after doing this course,
Mm-hmm.
how will it help me to
Yeah, I
switch?
mean, basically, like as you are in support as of now, right? So you mostly like, okay, monitoring and governance of the jobs, and whenever you run into some issues, so you'll try to fix from initial standpoint. If not, you will reach out to the next team, right? But in this particular course, as you'll get to know the from the architecture of Informatica IICS, and then to the individual components what you can build, and then to the complicated task flows. So you'll get to know what all the things that I've just explained, right? So those are all comes under development itself. Only the last piece, or like 10% of it, from 10 to 15% we'll be covering from a support standpoint, but the remaining 85 to 90%, so we'll be focusing more on the development only. So by the end of this particular training thing, right, so you'll be very well prepared for any of your development activities. So and that's where like so yeah, so as I was just explaining, right, so you will be very well prepared with all the requirements or the knowledge that is needed to for any of the development requirement. And we'll try our best to cover the more, I mean, the all the required and the complex scenarios that are aware, and that are going to cover, right? So you should be good with respect to the development team.
Yes, Sudhakar, I have one question is there. After taking this course, suppose if you want to do any practice sessions, then the software will be available as free, or we need to purchase this one?
No, basically, like we have a trial session, I mean, trial license available for 30 days.
Okay.
So you can make use of it. So you can make use of the 30-day free trial. And once you're done, if at all, if you feel that, okay, 30 days is not enough, maybe we can have a workaround to have another email account for you, and create another trial account. But as in such, like, you don't need to purchase, at least to the best. Uh,
Okay. Okay, sure. But in the trial version, we will get all the options, like we will get
Yeah,
all the features, right?
80 to 90% of the options are available in the trial version. There are some transformations, the complex ones that are not available with the trial versions. For that, either you need to, I mean, once you get on some hands-on experience with your organization, so then you'll get to know. But for the training purpose, we'll show you like how you can make use of it. But for the hands-on experience, I think there is at least like 10 to 15% of a gap in the trial or a free version.
Okay, sure.
So what about this REST API and all the things? REST API and all these things you can able to do in the trial version?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and also one more question from Subara here. Are you going to cover this one migration one from Power Center to cloud migration concepts?
From Power Center to cloud, no, we are not going to cover. I mean, that at least not a part of this particular course. It's purely in an IACS training, right?
Okay, I mean, so actually some of the objects we can call and run it in through Power Center component in cloud. I mean, so to migrate that one, I mean, you are going to cover or not?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat it?
No, actually, we have the Power Center component, right? To run the Power Center job, one configuration job is there, no?
Okay.
So, are you going to cover those topics as well? I mean, how
No,
to run the Power Center objects through cloud?
no, the Power Center objects part is not going to cover. But if you, I mean, it's not like a generic requirement, right? So if you have like any specific things, we can connect offline and can discuss for some time. But yeah, as a part of this curriculum, we are not going to cover.
But Sudhakar, there is readily available template in IICS for migration. So
Yes, yes,
that is
that
already
is
part
true.
of.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yes. I'm looking for that objects only. I mean, you're going to cover that concept or not?
Okay. I mean, in IICS, like how we are going to kind of make use of it, that we can cover. But from a Power Center standpoint, like we are not going to touch that.
No, no. I mean, I have also same question, Sudhakar. Like, we have a Power Center workflow, and we want to migrate that workflow to IICS. So there will be a readily available task, right? Power Center task something.
Yes.
in Informatica Cloud. So I mean, are you going to cover that or not? I think
Okay.
that is the
You're
question.
asking
Yeah.
like how a power center can be object can be migrated to IACS is what your question is.
Yeah, that's I think
Yeah,
Subbarao is
that-
asking that question, I think.
yes, we can cover that. I think it's not a part of curriculum at this point, but I can add it because it's an IACS piece to be precise. Yeah.
Yeah. And one more
Great.
question from my side. One more question from my side, Sudhakar. Like, I'm a purely development side. I'm a developer, and is it necessary to learn application integration? Is it compulsory, or only data integration part is enough?
I think having an additional knowledge is definitely value add, but
Yeah.
from a development standpoint, like majority, at least 90% of the work can be accomplished, or even I should say like 95% of the work can be accomplished using data integration.
And one more question, like, so for this cloud setup, right? In general, like, is there any separate admin team for the installation? I mean, secure agent we can install as a developer, but the relational connection establishments and everything. So
All these things we are going to cover.
okay.
That is the major difference between Informatica Power Center and Informatica Cloud, right? So when it comes to Informatica Power Center, we need to have an admin team, we need to have a server maintenance team and all. But when it comes to Informatica Cloud, so it's a simple installation, one-time installation that you can do, and that too very lightweight utility, right? So once you install it, so we'll be covering like how you can configure the connections, how you can install a secure agent, and how we can make use of all these configurational and additional administration activities. So we don't need to have a dedicated admin team for it, but it's good to have.
Thank you, Sudhakar. I mean, I got that. Yeah.
Yes, Sudhakar. So Madi here.
Hi, Sudhakar.
Sudhakar, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Manish, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So yeah, Madi here. So Sudhakar, actually, currently I'm working in ISCS, CAI. So the project which I'm working, it completely depends on CAI only. So it's we are connecting to the third-party API system. So actually, I'm looking for basically I don't have I'm very new to ISCS. My background is SAP background, SAP middleware. It's a POPI. I have been working SAP PA consultant from last 7 years. So I'm very new to ISCS, and I got this opportunity for CA. So I didn't learn data integration from last 1.5 months. I'm working in CA. Is it a necessary to learn data integration before CA? This is a mandate based on.
I mean, it's like very specific requirement. Manish. Look, I cannot say it's mandatory. I at the same time I cannot say it's not at all required. It's a very specific requirement based.
Yes. So even I'm interested to learn data integration as well because I have gone through many documents, many blocks. I'm very much interested to learn this one. But before learning, I could start from the
data
CA, right?
integration is the first or a basic block, though data integration and application integration are two individual blocks. I should say like before actually moving to application integration, it's at least good to have a good understanding about what a data integration is.
Okay. So are you going to start any session for CA separately or?
CA, you mean to say? I didn't get your point.
Yes. No, application integration I'm talking about. Are you going to start any special, any specific?
I think in these sessions, like we are going to cover data integration first, and post which like we are going to cover the application integration.
Anyway, everything. So you both will be doing by today itself, right?
Yes.
Fine.
It's a demo session. It's a demo session for Informatica IACS, right? So I'll be covering on a high level what Informatica application integration also does, but the detailed thing will be covered in the training.
Yes. That's what I'm looking for, the training, CA training actually.
Okay.
Hi,
Yeah,
Sudhakar. Hi, Sudhakar.
Hi.
Yeah, I have one doubt in what is the difference between OIC in Oracle Integration Cloud, Informatica Cloud? What's the difference between these two?
Can you tell me what is that?
Oracle Integration Cloud. In Oracle Integration Cloud, we have again three modules like Process Cloud Service, Visible Builder Service. Like we have three modules in OIC, like that. What is the difference between that one also cloud only, but I want to
Okay.
know if
I mean,
Informatica.
to be very frank, like I'm not aware of it, but for sure, like it might have been a competitor for Informatica Cloud. But yeah, to be very frank, I'm not aware of it.
Okay. And what is the difference between application integration and data integration? Please.
So the main difference is like, yeah, I mean, this is a data integration part. So we are going to kind of give a high level introduction of what an application integration is and what are the differences between. I think I would request you to wait for another couple of minutes.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
fine.
Sudhakar, Gautam here.
Yeah, hi.
Uh, I have a doubt. Is it possible an application once we created, we can integrate with the data integration?
Mm, yes, it is possible, but depends on like case by case. So if it's a real time dynamically changing application source, so then I think we might not be able to use it in the data integration. But if it's a static kind of thing where we can have a scheduled based interaction or an execution, right? Then we can make use of this data integration.
Because it's more our web service concept, right? So
Yes,
that's
yes,
what.
that's what, right. So if it is a real-time integration that is required, so then data integration is not at all, I mean, not useful. But if it is the requirement is not the real-time integration, then we can make use of even with API-based systems or an applications or the systems, right? So we can use make use of this data integration.
Okay. Other doubt is it like a rammer based or a swagger based? This one, the API integration.
It's a Swagger based.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Great. So let me show you how Informatica look and feel before actually jumping to the application integration. So this is how I mean the UI looks like. So once I'll help you like how you can raise a free trial for 30 days and how you can install a secure agent and all. But for now, I'll show you like once you have the ID and password available, and this is basically this particular trial edition that I have logged in, right? So this is basically for a data integration, not for an application integration, right? And here you could see like majorly 4 services, and the first one the major important one is the data integration, where we are going to cover all our assets being created and all. And the next one is basically the administrator, so where you can actually configure all your administration activities like installation of a secure agent, configuration of a connections, creation of a schedules, and whatnot. What are all the administration activities that we can tweak or trigger? You can make use of this particular service called administrator. And the third one is monitor. Once you execute any of the particular job or execution, right? So then the next part or the next question comes to our mind is, so how you can monitor or govern that particular do the governance of that particular job. So that you can make use of this particular monitor. So you can even kind of check like how many records being processed, and it's as similar to other monitors where you can get the stats and you have the flexibility to restart and stuff like that, right? And come to the other one, the operational insights, right? So this is basically a high level stats of what and how much you have been using on a daily basis or a monthly basis, or and what is the success rate and what is the failures and things like that. So all these statistics that can be leveraged to kind of gauge like how much we are using this particular edition of Informatica or this particular services of Informatica, so you can make use of this operational insights. So as we have a very little bit of time, so I'll just quickly show you like what a data integration and how it looks. I think somebody is asking about the fee and other details. I think our team will get in touch with you requesting your mobile number and email ID so that you will get all the details. I think the Visualpath admin team will get in touch with you. You have the contact number over there. So yeah, here inside this data integration, so you have all these options. So as you could see, the explore option over here, the important one. So here you can create like multiple folders as per your project requirement. If you're actually having like multiple requirements or modules inside a project, right? So you can create like multiple folders inside it, and you can make use of those folders to create your assets. Okay, so this simple as that. And the first one is basically the important one here. If you could see the new option over here, right? So this is basically an option to create any of your assets. Either it could be a mapping, or it could be a mapping configuration task, or it could be a maplet, task flow, whatever it is. As you could see, once you click on that new, you will see all these options to create a mapping task, or if you want to create a synchronization task, masking task, replication, power center task. Somebody was just asking about it, right? And the data transfer task. And similarly, we have some integration standard lookups and other process over here. And we have some for cleaning, and we have some for data warehousing. The slowly changing dimensions 1 to 3. These are the readily available ones. You just need to tweak the source and the additional parameters so that you can get use of it if it's a standard requirement. And similarly, within the mappings, you have a mapping, and again we have a different things where we can make use of it. I'll not show you all. Maybe we can cover all those things in the details session. And you can even create maplets over here. And these are the different type of maplets for SAP WAPI objects, and the normal maplet and PC import and all, where we can handle the XML parts, files and all. So we can use them. And coming to the task flows, again, as I've mentioned, like we have like n number of task flows that are available. Could be as linear, parallel, any decision making, sequential decision and all. So we can make use of the required as per our specific requirement. Coming to the components, so as we were actually discussing some time back, if it is not dynamically changing application or a web-based application, right? So we can make use of these business services, or and we have like hierarchical schemas and other things. I think we can explain them in detail about in our training session. So all these things are available. Once you if you want to create one, you just need to click on that and hit on create, and it will be opened up, right? So we'll explain you in detail how we can make use of it. And home is basically a high level overview of like what all the different things that are available, what is it and all. And in the coming to the bundles, so at this point I think it's very early for us to discuss about what a bundle is, but basically whenever you are trying to publish some piece of code, and you're trying to kind of put it to a broader group, so then this particular bundle concept is going to come into picture. And coming to the my jobs, so whenever you create some piece of code, either it could be a mapping, maplet, whatever it is, and you execute it, so then you will see, okay, these are all the jobs that I have executed. Basically, whatever the jobs that you have executed will be visible over here. And these are the important export log. Whenever you are trying to kind of migrate a piece of code from one environment to other environment inside IACS only, so then you can make use of this import export logs. We'll show you how you can use it in detail. So I think with this, given the time frame that we have, I think we have covered on a high level what we are going to cover in the data integration part of Informatica IACS. And the next part, or the second module of this particular training, is basically the application integration. So as I think we have discussed a little bit about it. So whenever you have a dynamic source that is or a real-time source that needs an integration with any of the database or your business requirement, right? So then comes the application integration. So just to clarify or simplify things, right? So if your source is static and you want the data to be refreshed in the target on a uh, on a schedule basis, basically once in a day or whatever the schedule you want, so then you can go with the data integration. But if your source is dynamic and you want the data to be refreshed in the target or a target system instantaneously or at a go when the source got changed, so then you need to go with an application integration, right? I mean, that's like a very uh, lame and very high level comparison that I could give so that everybody can get connected to it, right? So coming to the application integration, so here we can actually kind of integrate with any of the real-time applications or real-time systems or real-time databases, which needs to be reflected to our business reports or business end users or the business targets, right? So that is where we need this application integration. So it's basically how the difference between the data integration and the application integration, definitely from a technical standpoint, like it's altogether a different piece or an individual piece, I should say. But the integration or the connecting dot is basically the main difference between these two, I should say, right? And that's at a high level. And coming to the curriculum, or like what are all the different topics that we're going to cover in this application integration, right? So once you're done with this application integration also, so you will be able to you will be able to you'll be able to get to know what an application integration can do and what are all the different integrations it can be accomplished. Either it could be a web based, or it could be a REST or SOAP based, or Swagger file based. What are all the different things that you can accomplish and how you can do that? So you'll get to know once you're done with this particular application integration. And and you'll get to know what is the process is and what is a guide is in application integration, and how you can make use of it while you're actually creating any of the code pieces in application integration. So you will get to know that. And if at all, if you have any of the third-party applications or the third-party systems that can be accessed using any of the REST or the SOAP-based services, REST call or a SOAP call for that matter, right? So how you can actually consume the data, or like how you can read the data from that particular kind of sources, and how you can write the data to that particular kind of systems or the services. So those will be explained, and you will be well versed with how you can read the data and write the data from those kind of systems. So you'll get to know once you're done with this application integration. And the even after we integrate something, like, so there is high possibility that we might end up erroring into some other thing. So we'll explain you like some of the best practices of how you can handle specific errors that are standard, but that are at least like to the combination that what we have documented. So we'll cover all those scenarios, and we'll explain you like how you can handle those errors. Okay, and you will also get to know what all the different systems or the endpoints that can be accessed or developed using our application integration. So at a high level, that can also be that will also be covered. And once you're done with this application integration, right, so you will be very well versed with to handle all the API-based faults. It could be from a source end, or it could be from a target end. So majorly, whatever, at least the majority of it, the application integration runs around the APIs and the APIs and the web-based call. So you will be very well versed with all these terminologies and technologies. Either it could be from a source end, or it could be from a target end. So yeah, again, I'll take a pause here to see if we have any questions.
Sudhakar, Gauri here. Like,
Venkat, this is
One at a time, please.
yeah. Are you going to cover reading data from JSON files? I think it will be there in both. It can be done via data integration and then application integration, right?
Yes, you're right. So it will be covered in data integration part, and we can also cover the same in application integration as well. But in the application integration, it will be a web-based call. But whereas in the data integration, it will be a file load or whatever it is.
Yes, I mean JSON. I mean nowadays everyone
Yes,
moving to JSON
So we
format.
have a defined process in Informatica data integration, hierarchical parser. We can get use of it, and I'll explain you in detail. Like we'll be covered in that course.
Okay.
and Sudhakar, Gauri here. Like regarding the transformations, right? So, is there any specific differences between Power Center transformations and Informatica cloud transformations, where we need to focus? Any such transformations are there?
Yeah, there are some differences, Gauri. So simple example, I mean, I cannot say it's like completely different there, but there are differences. So the best example is like one of the update strategy transformation which you are like very well versed using in Informatica Power Center, right? So that is not available in Informatica IACS cloud. But to accomplish that particular task, we have a different setup in the target transformation itself in Informatica IACS. So it's a different like that. So and similarly we have I mean, sorry if I'm wrong, but I strongly believe even we don't have a hierarchy parser transformation also in Informatica Power Center. But wherever you have the transformations that are available in both Power Center and IACS, right? Example, a lookup, or example, an expression, normal ones, right? So those are like pretty much same, at least like 90% them. There are some small changes that are available in IACS for a better feasibility or a flexibility standpoint, and for better performance standpoint.
Yes. Okay, Siddharth, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Sudhakar.
Yeah, hi.
I have a doubt. We have in Power Center, we have SQL and shell scripting along with this mappings to run, right? We have a wrapper script to run the mappings, and
Yes.
we see the data in SQL, Teradata SQL, or Oracle database. So here,
Mm-hmm.
along with this IACS, what are
Mm-hmm.
the like file system shells, scripting language, or any other cloud services are you going to cover along with IACS?
So it's not like the scripting that we are going to cover, but what we are going to cover is like along with Informatica components or Informatica pieces. So we'll also be covering how you can trigger or execute any of the scripts. Either it could be a SQL, or it could be a batch script, or it could be a PowerShell, or it could be a Linux script, right? So how you can actually trigger or like embed those particular pieces in this particular Informatica end-to-end task flows. So that will be covered. But as in such, like how you can write those scripts, so we are not going to cover.
Okay, and no other cloud applications are taught along with this. Like I have seen in my project, they are using HDFS along with the IACS, like wherein they can, as you said, like triggering, they trigger that with PySpark, and in Hive they are going to check the data. Those parts are not covered in this, right?
Yeah. So I think I mean, that's actually not a complex part to cover all those integrations. It's end of the day, demoing with one source is as same as demoing with other source with some minimal changes. But the complexity comes around here will be with the license part, right? So whatever the Hive or a Snowflake or whatever the cloud-based things that you are just popping out, right? So those licenses are not available with us at this point. So we are not going to show you, but we can show you like how you, once you have those licenses, right? So how you can make use of it. It's just that the connectivity difference and some differences will be highlighted, as we don't have the licenses for those cloud-based things. So we are not going to show you in live.
And what is the project, real-time project about?
So yeah, real-time project. So we are actually will be sharing like a project requirement or couple of scenarios where we'll be discussing once we are at the end of our session, right? So or the training course. So we'll be going through that, and if any of the specific person has any specific requirement that he wants to get covered, we'll be covering those things as well.
No, like, is it on what domain? Is it on banking or healthcare?
That is yet to be decided. Yeah. So I mean, to be precise, like we haven't decided on like to what domain our project should be. So that we're still in the discussion phase. So we'll get back to you on it. But
And
yeah,
how
for
many
sure, like
projects are
we'll be having
covered?
a live project kind of. Yeah. Sorry.
How many projects are covered?
One project will be covered. That's what I'm explaining you. So one project for data integration, one project for application integration will be covered. And if any of the specific user has any specific requirement that he wants to cover, so we can actually, I mean, if he's fine to share it with the broader group, we can cover it as well.
And the total course would be how many months? So that are like data integration and application integration.
So those details, like we are targeting to cover in 40 to 50 hours, right? So the details like the duration, I mean, depends on the batch, right? The timings and is it like a weekday batch or a weekend batch? So it depends on that. So the Visualpath team will get in touch with you to give that clarity. But to giving a understanding that the hours would be around 40 to 50.
The modules you are saying.
No, including both modules.
Okay. 2 modules, 40 hours, mostly 50 hours. You are saying.
Because like we have seen in the past, like though we have constrained to 40 hours or so we had to drag it to 50 depending upon the questions and understanding of the people, right? So that's where we are telling like 40 to 50.
Okay, Sudhakar. Thank you.
Sudhakar, Madi here.
Yeah.
So basically you'll be covering the CA, right? Is it anything will you able to? Is there any concept called webhook in this CA?
Sorry, can you please come again?
I'm talking about webhook.
Webhook.
Yes.
I at least like I'm not aware that we are going that is available in CA, but yeah, I need to check that on it once.
Okay. Why I am asking now? Basically, in our project, what we are doing, we are creating a connection, transferring data in from local system, local DB to the third-party API system. Okay, the local DB to our system is a SOAP connector, and the IS to the third party is a API CA we are using.
Okay.
So, basically, if you want to automate the process, so there is no queue. We are not using any queue. So
okay.
I read the I read some blog in the ISS. It's saying that there is a webhook where you can automate your process. So is there any way, maybe webhook is a one concept, or is there any other way we can do that automated process?
So I think we can. I mean, to be very frank, like Informatica is an ocean, and I shouldn't say that. Okay, I know 100% of what Informatica can do, but I'm not aware of this web. But there are other ways where we can.
Fine. Maybe we can check this in the training. That I'm not sure whether I should ask this question here, but at least some point I can throw it here.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's great. Yeah.
Okay.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Mathavan Subbarao here. I mean, it's kind of some external scheduling tool, right? How we are using Control M or cron tab or other autosys for Power Center for cloud. So it is a one kind of scheduling tool. What you said, webhook something.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
And the jobs scheduling in cloud, it will be by default. It will be available like Power Center, Sudhakar, or
yes, by default it will be available.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. I think it was a nice interaction. Please feel free to reach out to the Visualpath team if you have any queries regarding the batch timings or fee or like what any other details for that matter, right? So yeah, they'll update you with the timings and all. So hopefully we'll meet again in our trainings.
So the real class will be commencing from when, Sudhakar? Is it from Monday or any other date?
The Monday, we are actually thinking to start from either Wednesday or like the next coming Monday. So that part, I think the Visualpath team will comment with you.
Okay. Okay.
Reason,
I will connect with them.
yeah. The reason being like we have Ramzan on Tuesday, right?
Right.
Yeah. So keeping that in mind, we are thinking like that. I think I think it feels better to start with Monday, or like, I mean, not this Monday, the next Monday, or this Wednesday.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, so that is it depends on participants, right? I mean, by this time, Visual Path would have been noticed. I mean, based on the name, some extent they would have identified the who is going to celebrate the Ramja. I mean, rather wasting time.
True. Yeah, keeping the broader team into consideration. So we were thinking, but yeah, it's not like a hard and fast rule. So you can get in touch with the Visual Path team. They'll be the better person to answer that question.
Okay.
Sudhakar, last question from my Madhi here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so can you can you please share me the roadmap, the paths? What are the course content that you're going to cover? Maybe I can check
Oh,
and
sure. I think it's been shared with you. If not, like,
no, I think I haven't checked the mail properly. I think maybe let me check it once
let
again.
me do one thing. Let me. Hope you can access the chart, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I am just putting these two links in the chat. Go for it.
Okay.
Any other questions, anyone?
Yes. I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.